What is a thesis statement? It is a sentence that expresses the writer's position or opinion on a particular subject. The reader assumes that it will be supported by text evidence. A thesis statement is always going to be found in the first paragraph, and it tells your reader what you're analyzing. It's going to reveal the opinion that your paper is going to defend. It includes a subject, some specific aspect of a selected piece of literature. Usually it's the abstract portion of the writing prompt, and we're going to look at some examples so that you can see what that looks like. And then it's going to include your opinion about the subject. You will always find your subject, and then you have to come up with your opinion in your prompt. So here's a sample prompt. Read the passage carefully. In a well-written essay, explain how the author uses imagery, figurative language, and detail to characterize Scrooge. You have to realize that you're not supposed to just reword the prompt. You do have to answer the question of the prompt in the thesis. If you reword it, then your opinion, which is the important part, is going to be left out. So when you're looking at the prompt, here's what you need to question. We're looking for the subject, so what is Scrooge's character? That's going to be the abstract part of it. Is he cold-hearted? Is he greedy? And then how do the literary elements reveal that characterization? What's the question? And that's the concrete part of it. And that's where you add your opinion. So here we have sample thesis 1. We're going to practice. In A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, the author uses many different types of figurative language to characterize Scrooge. So, is this a good thesis? Let's take a look at the two things we're supposed to have. The subject, which is usually going to be some kind of abstract thought, and then the opinion. We know that the subject is Scrooge's character in A Christmas Carol. And we know that we're going to have to talk about something about Scrooge. And then there's the writer's opinion. But one of the key elements is missing. There isn't an opinion. We don't know what they feel about Scrooge's character or how they're going to characterize it. So here's sample thesis 2. In A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, the protagonist, Scrooge, is portrayed as the archetypal, greedy, cold-hearted character through Dickens' use of figurative language such as similes and metaphors. So, how does this one rate? First, we got to look for the subject. The subject, Scrooge's character, is in A Christmas Carol. It's there. But now the opinion. The writer's opinion, the reader knows that the writer believes that Scrooge is greedy and cold-hearted. So we have an opinion there that they're going to prove. So here are your directions. We're going to practice. Read the following sample thesis statements, and then identify the subject of the thesis statement and the writer's opinion of the subject that is expressed in the thesis. Write one sentence that specifically explains what makes each an effective thesis statement. So I've also given you a sample prompt. So here would be your prompt. Read the following poem carefully. Then, in a well-organized essay, analyze how the speaker uses literary techniques to reveal his attitude toward the subject of the poem. So there's a couple of things that we're looking for. We are analyzing what the speaker is and how they use literary techniques to reveal attitude toward the subject of the poem. So your thesis statement. In Holy Sonnet 10, Don's use of personification and mocking comparisons clearly reveal his disdainful attitude toward death. Now it's your turn to practice on your own piece of paper. What is the subject? What is the writer's opinion about the subject? And this thesis statement is effective because. Next, your sample prompt. Read carefully the excerpt below, in which the speaker tries to explain his action to his children. Then, in a well-developed essay, explain how the speaker's language clearly reveals his attitude toward what he is doing. So then we have our practice thesis statement. In the excerpt from Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird, Atticus's strong diction and religious references reveal his unwavering belief that his defense of Tom Robertson is both moral and mandatory. So on your paper, what is the subject? The writer's opinion about the subject. This thesis statement is effective because, and then put your answer.